What I'm going to do in this video is to give you a overview of the dashboard itself. I'm going to walk you through, we're going to log in, and that way you have a better idea of where everything is and what we're going to actually use. Okay, so what you need to do is go ahead and go to GetResponse.com, as you can see here, and you're going to see some basic plans, and I recommend that you get the very basic monthly plan. Don't do annual yet until you get a better idea of if you like GetResponse or not. Now, it runs very similar to other autoresponder systems. Some are beneficial in certain areas, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to build a basic list. So up at the top, you're going to see contacts. Now, obviously, if they change the user interface, it will be slightly different. Now, the basic plan is just going to give you access to the contacts, which is building your list and doing broadcasting and creating autoresponder series. Now, what is broadcasting? Broadcasting means that if you have a list of, say, 100 people, you can email them all at once. The autoresponder series, however, on the other hand, will work based upon how and when somebody actually signs up. So if somebody signs up today, their autoresponder series sequence is going to start today. If somebody signs up 2 months later, their sequence is going to start 2 months later. Now, automation, you might have access to landing pages, basically allow you to create landing pages, opt-in pages to help you build your list. Now, if you're using something like lead pages or any other external third-party system to build landing pages, then you can connect to GetResponse through API. Now, I'm not going to show you how to do that in this particular video course because that's not the whole goal of this video course. So you might have access to that. Now, if you have the basic plan, you're most likely not going to get access to the webinars and other elements, as you can see here. So mainly, you really just need to focus on contacts and email marketing. So let me go ahead and open these up so you can kind of get a feel for what these are. So this one right here is the contacts. So when you click that, you're going to see lists, which are the different lists that you can create for your individual products. You could create a customer list for one product and then maybe a prospect list for that product as well. And like I said, the more specific the list is, the better it's going to actually convert in the long haul. So you have lists, you can do a search, you have statistics on seeing what's actually happening within your list. You have list hygiene, which allows you to clean your list, and blacklist basically means you can blacklist them from ever signing up in one of your web forms ever again. And you have other items here, but we really don't need a lot of these. Really, you just need to focus on lists, which allows you to create a list. You can add contacts if you have, an external spreadsheet of email addresses. Then we go to email, and under email marketing, you have newsletters, and then you have autoresponders. Newsletters are like broadcasting. So if you email them one time, and everybody gets the email at one time. And then autoresponders are, of course, what we're talking about in this course. Drafts are simply emails that you've created, but you haven't really sent them out yet. So you can retrieve them at a later date if you want to. And of course, you have RSS to email. We hardly use that in statistics, which you definitely need to use. And of course, if you click on landing pages, you can go here and create landing pages. Now, the items that we're really going to focus on are mainly, like I said, creating a list, like here, and then creating an autoresponder series right here. Okay, so as far as creating a list, it's actually very, very easy to do once you understand how everything is laid out. So even though it might take me about 5 or so minutes to teach you, once you get a hang of this and once you start creating a list after list after list, it'll actually be easy. In fact, as I will show you in just a minute, once you have created your list and you've created all the settings and done all that, once you create the second list, you can actually copy the settings from the prior list. So you don't have to set everything up again, essentially. So what you need to do is go under contacts, click on lists, click create list, and then of course name your list. So we're going to do a new test list 1. And of course you can click copy existing list settings. So if you've already created a list before, you can select that. You can select the list that you want. So you could select whatever list that relates to that particular product and then set that and click create. So we're not going to copy any settings here. We're just going to do it from scratch. We're going to click create, and there we go. So this right here is the new list. So now if you put your mouse over here, you're going to be able to see other elements like add contacts, make defaults, settings, show contacts, show newsletters, and show autoresponders and delete. Now click on settings here, and settings allows you to see the name, of course. Now keep in mind that when you use something like lead pages or any other landing page creator and you connect to the GetResponse API, what's going to happen is you're going to see the list name. So when you connect to GetResponse and you refresh the details and you connect lead pages, for example, to GetResponse, you're going to see the list name. So you want to make sure that you choose a name that is something that you will remember and that is clear to you. So you want to try to create a naming convention essentially, because you're not going to see the list title or description or any of that. So what you could do in GetResponse, however, is create a list title and description so that if you ever forget what the list name is, then you can always refer back here and figure that out. Now, the next thing is you can choose the category, as you can see here, and of course the language. Now, right below that is going to show the postal address, which is very important. And this address is going to show on all of your emails. So anytime you send out a newsletter broadcast, which is to everybody, or an autoresponder series, they're going to see your mailing address at the very bottom. So if you want to, for example, rent a UPS mailbox or a post box and put that there instead of putting your own private mailing address, that would be highly recommended for you to do. Now, of course, this just allows you to customize the list. You can add your logo and all of that. Now, if we click on subscription up at the top here, you can see that this option will allow you to receive subscription notifications. So basically every time somebody signs up on your list, you will receive a notification. Now, this is nice to have in the beginning when you're starting out. So it's kind of like a little motivator, but as time goes on and you start building lists of thousands and thousands of people, you most likely want to select this off. Now, what this here, it says require extra confirmations, double opt-in. What that means is the double opt-in list. Now, if you select this here, what that will do is whenever you create a web form and somebody signs up on that web form, they will be required to obviously confirm that they are real. So we highly recommend that you do that. Now, API subscriptions, what that means is that if you're using a third-party system like lead pages and you're connecting through API and somebody signs up through there, unless you select this, it won't be double opt-in. If you deselect this, then it'll be single opt-in. So that's the main differences between these two. Now it says preview pages your contacts will see. So this is very standard. Once you understand this, this will be standard throughout other systems. But the confirmation page is a page your contacts see after they confirm sign up. All right. So if somebody were to sign up via the web form and they click the confirmation link, they'll be sent directly to this page. And then, of course, the unsubscribe page is the page whenever they click the unsubscribe link. So unsubscribe success page basically means the page your contacts see after they unsubscribe. And of course, newsletter directory, your newsletter archive page. We don't really use that unless you want to show people all of your archives. And of course, you can tell the system where you want to host your confirmation page, either getresponse.com or a custom URL. So if you don't want to use getresponse.com's standard page and you want to use your own page on your own domain, you can select this and send them directly over to there. And of course, you got the confirmation message, and you can say, I want this message to be in HTML format or plain text. Now, if you're asking which one is better, it really depends. You're going to definitely want to use HTML. Plain text is just plain text. There's no graphics, there's no nothing. It's just plain. So at the end of the day, it really depends on your list. And of course, you can change the confirmation message, which is the message that they'll receive saying, okay, we received a notification that you signed up on this list. Are you serious about this? Or was that actually you? So you can change the subject line to something that's related to what they signed up for. And then the from address is, of course, your email from. And if they want to reply to, you can send them to the same address or a different address. And of course, when you're done, you can click Save Confirmation Message. So there are two different ways to create an autoresponder series. You can either go under email marketing and straight to autoresponders, or you can go the roundabout way if you're at the contact list section and go under contact list, go where we showed you earlier and select show autoresponders. But if you select that, you're essentially going to be sent over here. So it's just easier to go here. But I wanted to show you that just in case you have a better idea on how to navigate GetResponse. So now that we're here, we can click Create New, and we're going to create a new autoresponder. So this was the new tests list 1. And we could call this like survival meal. So this is obviously for you and you alone. Now on the list, we have to connect the autoresponder to the list. So we have to select this and then find the list, which is the new list 1. So we're going to click this. And as you can see here, I went ahead and selected that. So you need to connect that too, otherwise it's not going to work. Now, right here, this tells you when do you want the first message to be received. So after they confirm that they are indeed real and genuine, then the next thing is, when do you want them to receive the email? Now, it's my recommendation that you immediately send them an email. So I would put day 0. And while that doesn't really make sense because it should be day 1, that's how most autoresponders are set up. So day 0 really means 1, immediately. Day 1 usually means the next day, 24 hours after that. So that's that. You can send the message immediately with delay of. So if you select that, you could say, well, I want them to receive it maybe a couple hours later. So the way and the reason why you would need to do that is, let's say, for example, that you're a consultant and you get people signing up on your forms and you say to them like, okay, if once you sign up, we'll look through your details, and if you're legit, we'll start sending you emails, kind of deal. Or if it's a local business, you could specify that I only want to email on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll negate Saturday and Sunday. You could do that as well. So you could send immediately on these days and skip out on Saturday and Sunday. Now, if you're selling info products or software or anything that relies on emailing 24/7 and you don't really want to remove a certain day, you want to make sure that all the checkboxes are chosen. So now what we need to do is we can create the first email. So I'm actually going to dive further into this into the next video, but all you have to do is click create new email, and I'll create the first email here, and then we'll show you how to create the other emails in the future videos. But the message name is the name that will appear in the list of your messages. It's not going to be seen from your subscriber's point of view, but it's just there so that you know what that email is. So if we say survival kits email 1, and that's just for us, the subject, of course, will be different. That's something that your subscribers will see. So you definitely don't want to put the message name. So we could say something like, welcome to survival. And then when you're done, you click on next. Now, it's at this point you can decide what you want to do next. You can either choose pre-designed templates and make it pretty, or you can simply go straight to plain text, which basically means there is not really going to be any graphics or anything. It's just going to be plain with links. Or you could do HTML editor. So it's really up to you. If you're just starting out, I would highly recommend that you choose one of these templates because they look really nice. And unfortunately, people do judge you by what they receive. Now, it really depends on your audience. If they really just want the content and they want the report. Now, keep in mind that if you are trying to track if somebody actually opened the email or not, you definitely need to use the HTML code editor. The plain text editor doesn't really track that information, but what it does track is if somebody clicks on your link. Because what happens with the HTML code, they'll insert like an image, and if somebody opens like their email on their phone, it'll load that image and it'll trigger the stats to let you know that, oh, this person actually opened their emails. So that's just something to think about when you get started, because if you only do plain text emails, and you do a search on how many people actually opened your email and read it, the data is not really going to be there. All right. So that's why that is important. So let's say, for example, that we're going to go through here. So we got creative agencies, arts, education, financial services, online marketing. So since we're dealing with food in this case, we could select something like this. Now, one thing that I have noticed with a lot of email service providers is that if you insert way too many images, that can actually impact you negatively. Because if you think about a lot of spam email, they tend to contain a lot of images and very few words. So you definitely want to keep a balance of words and images. And you also want to think about, is this going to look right in somebody's email inbox if they're using a mobile device or if they're using a Mac? And there's many different types of resolutions: PC, Macs, mobile devices, tablets, and all of that. So selecting a template is actually very easy. You just point and click and you can get it done to do it. So click next step. And then we look at the autoresponder. Everything looks good. And we can click save and publish. And one thing you could do is up at the top here, when you click this here, you can select the list, which is new test list. And it's going to show you all the email autoresponders in here. So these are all the emails. So if you have a second email, we can add a new one and we can tell it when to send it. So as you can see here, this email is being sent and status is on. Send immediately, any day of the week. So if we click on create new and we, let's say, for example, create a new email, and then we can name it. So we'll do survival email 2 and on day 1. So now if you want to do it every day, you can. So you create a new email and then a new email, and it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then 6. But if you want it on, let's say, every other day, so we emailed out on the 0 day, we're going to skip the day 1, and day 2 is when we're going to email out. So it's going to be every other day. And the reason why you wouldn't want to do that is because you want to give people the ability to absorb the information. But if it's really short, straight to the point pieces of content, I wouldn't do every other day. I would just go ahead and start emailing them every single day. So I would do that, do the same process, create a new email, subject line, message name, do the same thing I showed you, and then you'll click save and publish and you're good to go. Okay, so to create a form, all you need to do is go to this forms and surveys. So click on this and you're going to see manage forms. Next thing is click on create form. And then of course you'll have the ability to create a form. So you can either use the list builder wizard, as you can see here. So this is a variety of different forms. You can create newsletter signups, free course signups, different types of purposes too, like leave feedback forms, Facebook forms, blank forms, order forms, and more. So it's not just web forms, there are all sorts of different forms. But for this purpose today, and in this particular video, we're going to focus on sign up forms. So we're going to click on newsletter sign up. And even though this information has like non-profit organization, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use that logo. As long as you see something that you like, you can pick it and you can change the graphics, you can change the background, and of course you can change the text. So if we scroll down and we find something that maybe fits our design of our website and our landing page, let's do something like this. Use this template. So now at this point, if you select the items, you can actually change them. So this is a different logo, so we could change it to our own logo, click image, and of course go through the process of finding either a logo or clicking my images and finding your logo. Now, for the sake of simplicity, I try to keep my web forms very simplistic. The text should say something like, sign up for this free report, free ebook, free checklist, the top 5 ways to create a survival meal kit kind of deal. You have to tell people what exactly that they are getting so that they kind of can visualize what they're going to get on the other side. So keep it simple, straightforward, to the point. Enter the name, email, and then sign up for updates. Now, what I recommend that you do, and this is something that has worked well for us, is to change this into something like send me the report. So that way, psychologically, when they click on that, they're thinking, oh, I want you to send me the report, right? If you just have a submit button and that's it, in reality, your conversions are not going to be as high because it doesn't really tell people what they get. So this tells people what they get, but this tells people that, okay, they're definitely going to get something. So send me the report, send me the checklist, send me the report to my email. So that way, the next step in their mind, psychologically, they're waiting to receive an email, all right? Now, you can test this out. If you only want to collect emails only, you could remove the name here. But if you do that, just keep in mind that when you customize your emails and you personalize them, you can't say, hey, first name, because you don't have their name. So going through here, these are just elements that you can add. And of course, you have the layout and the style. You can change the design, the color, and all of that. When you're done, you click on Save and Publish. And there we go. So we're almost done. And now there are several different options that you have. You can say, I will install the form myself, and it'll give you a script code. So this is JavaScript. You can click copy. And then, of course, you can add that to your landing page. You can add that to your blog. Now, like I said, if you're using lead pages, then you're never really going to have to even go through this process. This process really is only for if you are posting this directly to your blog or anywhere else. You can also say GetResponse will host my form. So what this will give you is a direct link to a URL. So if we go here, when somebody goes straight to that link, they are then, of course, sent to the opt-in here. I would not recommend that you do this unless it was like a customer or somebody that really trusts you. In fact, I would highly recommend that you use an external landing page creator, or you use the built-in one in GetResponse. And if you do that, you don't even need any of this information. And that's how to create a web form.